If you would have told me a couple of years ago that I needed to just keep getting rid of things in my kitchen in order to make it the most functional and efficient for my family, I probably would have thought that was insane. My idea has always been to try to shove as much stuff as humanly possible and try to organize that stuff in a way to always have everything I thought I needed in my kitchen at one time. But over the last couple of years, I've really learned that I don't need so much stuff that's been in my house and in my kitchen in particular. So I really wanted to go through, I spent a lot of time really thinking about exactly what I wanted to have in my space and in each cabinet and drawer. And I wanted to go through and really redo those spaces once and for all. And I absolutely love it. It is so nice to have a functioning kitchen. And just to really be able to reach everything. All the stuff that I used to have in there was so unnecessary. But again, decluttering really and truly is like peeling away an onion. You have to do it in layers. This is my second year now working on this. And I've just realized that I've had to get rid of so much stuff. But each time I'm able to let go of more. So I picked up this shelf liner on Amazon. I really like it. It was super easy to work with. I just picked out one piece for each shelf, and then I was able to kind of copy and resize that for each additional shelf, and it turned out so good. I don't know what I was thinking a few years ago. I had taken all of my shelf liners out of the cabinets. I just thought that they were messy and dirty, and I didn't like them, so I took them all out, but unfortunately it did ruin some of the cabinets. So you're going to see that especially in like where I keep the bowls and the plates. It had just really ruined some of those cabinets. So I'm just relining all of the shelves to make it a little bit easier to keep clean. So this is one of my baking cabinets, and I had gone through this not too long ago, but I really didn't touch the top shelf, which you're going to see there was plenty of stuff in there. So I really wanted to go through that and see exactly what I needed. Again, my idea was always, if it can fit somehow into the space, then I can keep it in there. But realistically, there were so many things that were going bad that I forgot I had because I couldn't even get to them or see them, especially in the corner cabinets. I've realized that the less I can have in there, the better, and they will just function so much better. I was able to actually fit some things into the kitchen that I had wanted to keep in there, but I was keeping in the closet off the kitchen. So this was all the stuff that I got out of those two baking cabinets, the top and the bottom one. Again, I had gone through the top one not too long ago, but I wanted to redo it. All right, this is all the stuff that I'm going to be getting rid of. I've decided I'm not going to use the sprinkles. I kept the ones that I want. All this other stuff is trash. The straws I'm going to put into this drawer here once I wash them. Those I'm going to put with my cookie press down in the basement. I only use them one time a year. This stuff here is going to get donated. It's fondant roller, which I don't use any fondant anymore. And then the baking soda, I'm just going to put that into the bathroom and use that for the drain and for cleaning, specifically for the bathroom. So this is what this cabinet looks like now. Again, it is so much easier to get everything out. I love the Lazy Susan. I end up using them in several different cabinets, especially the corner cabinets. So I absolutely love these spaces. Now that they are cleaned out, I can see exactly what I have. These are all cake or cookie decorating tips and food colorings, all that kind of stuff, and it's all in its own category. I absolutely love this space. This cabinet really wasn't all that bad, but my main mission here was to clean out the medications. A lot of them were not being used. We had kind of just stored them over the years, and then I just wanted to clean them out and again put the shelf liner down to protect what's left of the wood in there. These were pretty nice cabinets. They're all real wood. But unfortunately, I kind of messed things up by taking the liners off initially. You can see it here, just the damage from like putting wet dishes in and the constant sliding back and forth. These really were the worst of all of them. In order to organize the kitchen the best way that I thought possible, I did end up going to Home Goods and buying a few containers, which I showed you in the beginning. But for the most part, I also had a lot of containers and different bins and things like that I just wasn't using anymore. I had been storing them in the basement. So I was able to also take some of those out. And I've also been saving like little boxes that I get that are really good, as you're going to see there, where I have my glass cleaner stuff. That was just a small box from something that was no longer being used. And I think that they're really helpful. I actually just gave my son a couple to use in his drawers as well. So under the sink, I really wanted to focus on those two baskets on the right. Those are actually shoe containers that I had been using for years. I thought that they were working good, but I realized that they just weren't working for me anymore. So I wanted to get some smaller containers to put individual things in, just to make it more organized, because it was really hard to get into those huge boxes. Another thing that I wanted to do was I almost bought a small Cricut Joy, but realistically I don't have anywhere to really store that at this time, so I ended up just using a printer that I already have, and I just was able to label all of the drawers so that way I know exactly what goes into them. I just think it looks a lot neater, but I stopped myself from going out and buying something I didn't need. If you're new here, my name is Jen, and we are a family of 5. It's myself, my husband, and our 3 kids. I have been on a journey for the past couple of years to finally get my house decluttered once and for all. It has been a journey for sure. At one time, I was a prepper, and I had so much stuff, clutter everywhere. It was really impossible to live anymore the way that we were living, so I really wanted to take the time. That first year, I took the time to declutter. Again, I have to keep going through these spaces because if you're anything like me, it's not easy to get rid of everything all at once, but it is eventually easy to get rid of things. My goal in the beginning was to get things off the countertops. I have succeeded at that, and now I am just really focusing on organizing all the spaces to the best of my ability. All right, for these corner cabinets, I've realized that I don't just need to jam a bunch of stuff into them. I can just kind of let them be a little bit more open and just put a few things in that we're going to use on a regular basis. Because in all honesty, I can't even get to the stuff in the back that easily. The top one's a little bit easier than the bottom. So I think I'm just going to, again, put the covering down on the bottom and then really go through and decide what we want to keep in here. I love having my cutting boards there. That works out really well. I love having the spices there to refill. But I just need to make this a little bit easier to access and get rid of all the stuff that we're not using on a regular basis. All right, so here's the stuff that I took out of both the cabinets. That's just some chicken I have pulled out for tonight. When I have done this over the past few years, like I had every single surface in the kitchen completely covered with stuff. And now this is everything out of both cabinets, which is insane to me. But again, I think I can even do a lot less to make it a lot more functional for our lives. So I put all the stuff down. It's not perfect, but you know, at least it's going to protect the wood. I wish I had done this sooner. I used to have a Lazy Susan in this cabinet, and I took that out several years ago. I just thought it gave me a little bit more space. So I'm going to put everything back in now, and we'll go from there. With my lids here, I'd like to find a way to put those into the cabinet because I just don't like the way that they look here, plus they get dusty. So I'm going to put them into here and get them into the cabinet. All right, this is all the stuff that I ended up getting rid of. Again, those oils were expired. The candy wasn't being used. This pile here was some stuff that I had to rehome. I learned from my professional organizer when she came over that it was really best to try to keep everything together. So all of my extra food should be in one place. This is afterwards. I absolutely love how this turned out. The strainer used to be in the closet underneath a bunch of bowls. I would always have to go lift all the bowls to get the strainer several times a week. So now if I can just keep it right here, there's nothing in front of it, nothing behind it. It's easy to get to. And here's the bottom. Again, just separating everything into the Lazy Susans makes it so much easier to access everything without having to move a bunch of stuff. Since I recently had to move my towels, I don't have room for all of them in the one drawer that I'm using. So I'm just using that bin as an extra restock bin. Again, everything is now super easy to get to and so much better to look at. If you are just starting on your decluttering journey and your goal is to have a more simplified kitchen space and or home altogether, just know that it is possible. No matter how much stuff you have in your kitchen right now, no matter how cluttered your countertops are and your drawers and your cabinets, it is possible to get it all simplified and decluttered. This was another huge space that I had wanted to work on. The bottom, I just had no idea what to do with for a long time, so I just kept piling stuff in there. I ended up picking up these bins from Walmart. I have one from the Container Store under my sink that I used, but I recently watched a video from the Minimal Mom, and she was showing all the uses for these bins, and I just had never thought of it for under here. But it worked out so well because I was able to actually just take everything out of those bins that was all mixed together and actually put them into individual categories, and again, label everything. Here I'm just seeing exactly how many I'm able to fit in there, but I didn't end up using all of them in this space because you're going to see later I use some smaller bins for smaller categories. So just keep looking for different ways to organize your things. But just know that you have to declutter first, because obviously you can't organize clutter, even though many of us try for a very long time to do so. It's just not possible. If you're new here, I would love it if you could subscribe and like the video. It really does help out the channel. If you're coming back, I welcome you and thank you so much for coming back to watch my videos. It really means the world to me. I do appreciate it so, so much. Now, we have a pretty small house compared to the average American household, especially for 5 of us being here. So I just never used to think that it was going to be possible to keep everything that we actually needed in the home in an organized way. So that's why I think I used to just shove everything into every space that I had available, because I thought we needed all that stuff. But I'm just finding so much of it was a waste of money and just clutter, to be honest with you. I mean, we have plenty of space in this home. There's still, of course, some areas that I need to go through and redo, reorganize, make over somehow. But I am finding it now possible to do that. So here's the cabinet afterwards. Again, just so much more organized. Now I can have everything in its own little category. I labeled everything to make it easier. And here's all the stuff that I had to get rid of. The light bulbs I ended up putting in the basement. Everything else went to recycle or donate. Next, I wanted to go through the silverware drawer. Again, it really wasn't too bad. I've decluttered it and gotten it down to pretty much everything that I need in this space, but I wanted it to match the rest of the kitchen. So I picked up this bamboo organizer from Space Aid, and I like it because it's expandable. The drawer that I have is not very big, so I'm not able to utilize all of the space in it, but it was definitely enough to get everything that I wanted in here. I did put some sticky tack underneath, that way it's not sliding around in the drawers, but I love how it looks and it matches with the rest of the kitchen drawers. And again, this is the stuff that I am getting rid of. I don't need those dividers, so I'm just going to get rid of them. Here's my junk drawer that I knew that I had to go through. I've been looking at it for a few weeks now, dreading going through it for some reason, but it only took a few minutes to actually go in, clean everything out, rehome some of the items that had gotten tossed in there that did not belong, and just kind of fix things up a little bit. It really did not take long at all, but I was dreading it for some reason. And then with this one here, I raised up that top shelf. I wanted to fit this heavy pan in there because I'm sick of going into the closet, having to get my step stool. So see you later.